Our next guest is a Golden Globe winner, Emmy Award-winning producer and writer. He's well known for his work on Canadian shows like Schitt's Creek and Kim's Convenience. Now, his latest project, I'm going to say, is his most personal work so far. It's a brand new comedy premiering tonight on CTV. It's called Children Ruin Everything. The title says it all. Take a look.
There's a lot of research out there that shows people with kids are less happy than people without kids. And look, it's hard to argue with the facts. Before kids, we had this. Now we have this.
So relatable, creator and executive producer of Children Ruin Everything. Kurt Smeaton is joining us this morning. I don't know why I said it like a child. I was like, children ruin everything. But that's
it was
how
great.
it came
I
out.
loved it.
It's so great to talk to you today. This is a show based on, I'm guessing, your own parental experience. Tell us what the show's about.
Yeah, it's about a couple with a young family, raising them in the city, and they're struggling to find a balance between having a young family and the lives they had before children. And
What is that? What was the life before children? Remind me what that was like.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you know, there's this funny transition that happens with your identity when you're a single person or in a couple to having a family, and you know, one weekend you're sleeping in and going to see movies all day, and then all of a sudden you're eating bowls of cereal left over from kids over the sink.
And, you know what stands out for me once we had our first child was the fact that a weekend wasn't a weekend. Like it was all of a sudden you're on like 7 days a week. There was no, like, a Tuesday was a Saturday, was a Sunday, was a Wednesday. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah, there's no weekends. You have another full-time job, and so yeah, you just lose them. All of a sudden, there's 2 days gone.
I know, exactly. Now we know there's a lot of shows about parenting out there. So what makes this one different?
Well, this one focuses on specifically on the parents' journey from being, you know, in their 20s and having their own adult identities to the transition of having the identity of a family and what you're losing and also what you're gaining. You know, I think that it's challenging to have a kid, it's challenging to have a family, but it's also so rewarding. So I'm trying to have a show that has both of those things.
Yeah, and speaking of challenging, being a parent, working, and then pandemic and lockdown and homeschooling, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. What's it like to put a show like this out there during a time like we're living in now?
Well, the show was greenlit and ready to go in 2019. We were going to shoot in 2020, and then all of a sudden we had to wait for a year. And so, yeah, I think people have been locked up with their kids and been in close quarters with their kids for the last 2 years. And so I think some of these feelings and situations are going to feel heightened and they're very relatable.
So it was greenlit in 2019. You were ready to go in 2020. So did you have to change the script, literally?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. We wanted to acknowledge the pandemic without it being a plot point. So I did have to sort of adjust it. But we knew as we were shooting in 2021 that the show would be airing in 2022. And so I wondered if maybe the pandemic would be kind of almost over by then. And so it kind of takes place in this sci-fi world where the pandemic has kind of just passed a little bit. So we acknowledge it, it's there, but we're kind of beyond it.
Okay, so before I let you go, I have to ask you, what is the best parenting advice you've ever received?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say
I can't wait to hear it. I'm like, give it to me.
Yeah. Just you gotta have patience. You gotta have patience because you know your emotions are running high so many times. Kids can push your buttons so much. You just gotta take that breath, count to 10, and deal with the situation with love and patience.
That's great as we laugh on the end of that statement. But you're right, and I love that Children Ruin Everything is the name of the show. But you also talked about the great reward that children can bring to your life as well. Kurt, thanks for joining us this morning. Congratulations on the show.
Thanks, Lindsay.
I want to let everybody know it premieres tonight on CTV at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also catch the brand new podcast, Children Ruin Everything. Children Ruin Podcasts, weekly on all podcast platforms. Stay tuned.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.